If you are as nosy as I am about the finances and the behind the scenes of other people's businesses, let me tell you, this is a video for you because I'm going to be sharing how much money I spent in my business last month. Now, this is a piece of content that I've wanted to create for ages, but to be really honest with you, I've just been scared. I don't often see other people sharing their finances this openly, and I think I just worried maybe it's not the done thing. But over the last few months, as I've been creating more content around money and particularly talking about money in the context of my business, I've just been reminded time and time again how powerful it is to open up this conversation around money, which realistically is something that is so fundamental in business and in life. So why not take it a step further and share with you how much money I spent in my business in April to hopefully give you an inside look to what it does take to financially sustain and level up a business of my size and of my type. I know that when I started out, I was like, oh, service-based, no overheads, no physical things. That's going to be super cheap. And whilst, yes, in the early days, my overheads and expenses were far lower than this, it sometimes does surprise me just what it takes to build a business in the way that I'm building mine. So without further ado, let's get into it. The way that I'm going to walk you through my money is by actually just letting you look at my banking app, which is with Starling. I've just moved over to Starling now that I'm a limited company and I need a proper business bank account. And honestly, I so wish I did it sooner, not only because it makes this video super easy, but also just because it's allowed me to feel so much more in control of and aware of my finances, just to have them laid in front of me in a super simple way. So I'm going to share my screen with you and give you the figures. So the total amount that my business spent in April was £2,580.47. Now, looking at those figures on the breakdown here, you might see that it's £2,000 more than that in the app. And that is because in April, I had to move £2,000 from my limited company to my sole trader because I'd moved too much over when I set up the limited company and I needed to send some back to pay my tax return. So if we ignore that £2,000, it's £2,580.47. And here you can see the breakdown of that. So the majority has gone on staff, dividends, and professional services, and the rest is pretty evenly split between kind of other expenses within my business. So let's have a look at the breakdown of that and figure out how in April did I get to the end figure of £2,500. Hair's gone behind the ears because it was annoying the frick out of me. But anyway, first ever thing that I spent on in April was £50 to my pension, such an adult. And then you'll also see as we go through all of these transactions, payments coming in via Stripe and then me immediately putting profit first, which you'll know I love, into action by moving percentages of that income over to my tax and to my profit accounts. If you want me to talk more about profit first, I will, because I love it. But you'll see that as we go, so ignore those. You'll also see I had 3 more payments come out on the 1st of April, £16.22 to Libsyn, which is my podcast hosting, £14.60 to Acuity, which is how I put my schedule online for people to book into, and £16.56 to Google, which I believe is for my domain and for my email addresses. So all pretty standard payments that pretty much come out every single month that we just let happen. On to the 2nd of April, you can see that I spent £5.99 on iTunes, which is for an app called MileIQ that when I am traveling with work, obviously not right now, I can really easily track my miles for my tax return. So that's just, again, standard monthly payment. And then later that day, you'll see that I paid Emily, my team member, £652.50. That's a pretty standard kind of monthly invoice for Emily. And that is her payment for the previous month, so March's work. You'll then see on the 3rd of April, I actually sent £45 back to Stripe. Usually Stripe payments are coming in, not going out. But that was a client refund for someone who had booked into the 6-week thing and then had a change in their financial situation, so needed a refund or a partial refund so that they could still take part, which was fine by me. And then over the weekend, you'll see that £15 came out to Voxy. Voxy is for my phone. I used to spend about £100 on my phone, so that is a bloody bargain to me. And then moving on to the next week, you'll see again a pretty big payment on Wednesday the 8th of April. I sent £295.20 to professional services. That is for my accountant. Now that I'm limited, I need an accountant, and let me tell you, it is worth every penny because they cover all of my bookkeeping, all of my tax returns, and just give me peace of mind when it comes to that stuff. Again, that is a monthly payment. And then moving through the rest of the week, what you'll see on the 9th of April is me taking £100 £120 out of my profit account and paying it to Joe from the Mad and Sad Club, who you'll know is my business mentor. This is why I love Profit First, because you can do whatever you want with your profit. And I often use mine to invest in my kind of self-development and the long term of the business. So that was just paying Joe for another one of our sessions. And you'll also see later on that Thursday, I paid myself in dividends £169, which is what I pay myself every single week now. I don't know why I sent that on a Thursday. It's usually a Friday, so I must have been skint that week, who knows. Nothing came out over the weekend, and then again, ignoring that £2,000, I sent £28.80 to Squarespace, which is how I host my website, pretty standard monthly payment. And then I didn't spend that much more that week. I spent £1.59 at Google Play, which I think is storage for my Google Drive. Dull, but needed. And then again, later on that week on the Friday, I sent myself dividends. Obviously wasn't skint that week, so I sent it on the Friday. And I also spent £9 and then £96 at Amazon. The £9 was for a book I'm reading at the moment. I don't think it's here, Atomic Habits, Vegan. And the £96 was a mistake. I meant to buy a personal thing, but accidentally did it on the business card. Hence why above that, you'll see Alice Benham Personal, sending Alice Benham Limited £96 to cover that. And then that is it for that week. On the Saturday, I spent £14.39 at Zoom. You'll see from the timestamp, I was actually on a quiz at this point, and I realised I didn't have a good enough account to house all the people taking part, so I upgraded it, but I'll use that for business, so that's fine. And then moving on, I didn't really spend any money the next week, apart from on the Saturday, I spent a couple of payments on iTunes. I probably need to check what those are. I don't actually know what I'm paying for there. And I also sent myself my weekly dividends, if you can't tell. They're weekly, so we're just going to keep seeing them pop up. You'll then see on the 26th of April, I spent £52.85 at the Hollis Co. I attended yesterday, actually, a virtual conference by Rachel Hollis. And again, I just like to think of small ways that I can kind of invest in myself and level up. And I've always wanted to go to one of their conferences. So because it was virtual, heck yeah, I was in. Moving through, we can see the 27th of April, I spent £32.78 with Cheeky Zebra. Sasha's actually one of my clients, but she was investing in a piece of software to help her track her analytics, which had the ability to house 2 accounts, and I also wanted to use. So we went halves on it, so that was me sending her the money to do that. Love a way of saving money. And then the final payment to come out in April was another payment to Emily. Now, if I was remembering that I was recording this video, I wouldn't have done this because it kind of skews the numbers, but because Emily invoiced me on the Thursday and I was checking my emails late that night, I just got her paid. So obviously usually that £600 would come out the next month, but it snuck into April, which is how we reached that end figure of £2,580.47. Now, I guess kind of a couple of reflections on that. Number one would be that this is not a standard month. That does not include food and that does not include travel. 2 things which I'm working on becoming less, but are often a pretty big and variable expense within my business. It definitely is interesting now we're in lockdown to almost see the minimum amount that my business needs to sustain. Apart from kind of £200 or £300 of spending that month, all of that spending is consistent monthly fixed spending. So what I can get from that is if I take out Emily's payment, which should have really come out the next month, actually it costs around £1,700 or £1,800 every single month to sustain my business, pay myself, pay my team, and keep things going in a way that, you know, allows my business to continue. I know that that number might seem big to some of you, it might seem small to some of you. Definitely when I started out my business, if I'd thought about having overheads like that, I would have been like, oh my gosh, absolutely not. But definitely as my business has grown over the years and kind of I've very slowly leveled up different areas, it has got to a figure like that. And I have no doubt that figure will grow as the business grows too. So there we have it. That is a look at how much I spent in April. If this is interesting, let me know. If there's anything else you want me to share about my finances, hopefully you've got the idea by now that if it's going to be a helpful thing to share, I am up for sharing it. So let me know below anything else you want to see. Let me know, did anything about that surprise you? What has that made you think about your own finances? I'm so interested to hear from you. So over and out. Thanks for watching another video about money. You're great. Such a weird ending.